Welcome, everybody, to our next lessons in this wonderful book called Living Lessons from Tanya. We've already completed the first 8 chapters. And the first 8 chapters is a section within itself of the Tanya. What is the first 8 sections all about? Very simple. The 8 sections are telling us the players, how we're made up, meaning you have 2 souls. You have an animal soul, and a soul that is seriously caring about all your personal desires. I want to eat. I want to drink. I want to make money. And you have another soul, the godly soul. It doesn't care about anything in this physical world. All it really cares about is that you, the body, chooses to do holy concepts. We were also taught about that there are 10 spiritual energies that we have in order to be able to do things. For example, I need to be able to bring in wisdom. I need to understand wisdom. I have another power that can take this and apply it, called knowledge, into action. And even when I do action, is it through compassion? Is it through judgmental? There's 7 different ways of energies that I can bring my action in. How do I do action? The Tanya explained, through thought, through speech, and through regular action. Then the Alter Rebbe goes into explaining all the wonderful things that the godly soul wants to do, and then the animal soul wants to do. One of the things that we described was, even if you want to eat, which is important to live, but every time you go out to eat, even if it's kosher, you're feeding your animal soul. Why? The godly soul has nothing to do with the physical world. It only wants you to be in the physical world, thinking and doing for God. So how do I combine the two? Well, one of the things that we spoke about was, if I eat, I am eating this steak and salad, and I'm eating it because I'm saying in about a half hour from now, I'm going to teach a Torah class. So I'm now utilizing the energy for holiness. So the cow now transcends. The vegetable now transcends to a higher place than it was when it was originally created. So up until now, we were just telling you the playing field. From chapter 9 until chapter 17, it's going to be talking about the struggle. And it's also going to be talking about, we all have struggles. We're always fighting within ourselves what to do, how to go about doing it. Am I wicked? Am I righteous? How do I know? So all of this is going to be described in the next few chapters, because you and I have to understand the playing field. And the playing field is right there. There's a struggle inside us. Should I do it? Should I not do it? When I go to synagogue, I'm praying. How come while I'm praying, I want to talk to that person? Is that the animal pushing me? Why can't I listen to the godly soul? I'm in synagogue. There's always a struggle. And it's up for you and me to choose what action we are going to take. So how come sometimes it's so hard for us to choose the right thing? How come it's so easy for us to all of a sudden get angry at somebody? Why can't they just be calm? Why is it so hard that I can't take control of my time management? Why is time getting out of hand with all of these things? Is the struggle inside yourself. A human being has struggles. An animal doesn't have a struggle. I'm hungry. I'm not hungry. It's all it is. I'm tired. I'm not tired. An animal doesn't have all of these struggles. A human being was created this way. But to understand this more, everybody, if you have the book, turn to page 66 and let's read what it says on the top of page 66. The Alter Rebbe writes in Tanya, the founder of the Chabad movement, who wrote this holy book called Tanya, writes the following passage. The body is called a small city. I'm a small city. Just as two kings fight over controlling of the city, each one is trying to conquer and rule totally over the city. So too, you have within you two souls, the godly soul and that what gives you life, the animal soul. And each one is battling, I want to be the ruler of the city. I want to be the ruler of the body. I want to be the ruler and control your actions. I want to control the way you think. I want to control the way you speak. I want to control your actions. And they're constantly inside your head battling. Sometimes the animal soul, as we know, could be so prevalent and so powerful that you don't even think about doing something Jewish. That means the godly soul is right now being pinned or being covered up. But there's not a 1, 2, 3 count. No, it doesn't work that way. The godly soul is going to constantly try to put out there an energy, a light. Hear me, listen to me. But many Jewish people have a tough time hearing the sound of the godly. Some righteous people, they hardly ever hear, hey, go out and have a cheeseburger. They don't hear the animal soul talk this way. So the question is, you and I, as normal people, how does it tick inside? So let's read further into this beautiful understanding of what we just learned about the two kings battling. Imagine two kings battle over a city. Will they ever decide to come to a truce? Will they both look at each other and say, you know what, let's stop fighting. Let's make peace. Let's make a kumbaya. Let's not fight anymore. Will that ever happen? Absolutely not. Each king wants to fulfill total control of the city. And it wants its inhabitants to be always listening to its rule. It does not want to have a concept of, all right, sometimes you listen to this and sometimes you listen to that. No, a king wants total control. Our godly soul and our animal soul are like two kings, to each one control of our body and our life. The godly soul will not be satisfied sharing its rule with animalistic concepts. Therefore, it wants that every part of me to be fully and exclusively guided by the godly soul. Its dream is that our minds will constantly be thinking good thoughts, Torah thoughts, how to help people. Our mouth will only say pure words. And when we speak, there's no gossip. And it's Torah and prayer. And the body is a holy body in its actions. Doesn't hit anybody, doesn't push anybody. It's constantly doing the right thing. The problem is the godly soul can desire whatever it wants, but the animal soul is pushing itself into your mind and into your way of thinking and demanding of you, give me attention. Stop studying Torah. Let me think about what was last night on Netflix. It's constantly competing. Do you know once in the Torah, there's a story of our mother Rivka. We Jewish people have 4 mothers: Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, Leah, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. And one of the mothers, Rebecca, Rivka, she was pregnant. And every single time that she walked by a holy thing, a godly thing, there was like pouncing going on in her stomach, like kicking, excitement. And unfortunately, whenever her steps took her down a road and there could have been a place of idolatry, again, she was confused. Do I have a confused child inside me? So she went to the spiritual leaders of the time. And the spiritual leader was the grandson of was the son of Noah, Shem, and asked, what's going on here? And he said, God has placed two people inside your stomach. One is going to be a holy one, Jacob, and one is going to be a hunter, a murderer, etc. That's Esau. So symbolically, and I don't like using symbolically because Torah Judaism is not about symbols, but the concept is just like she had two things, one running this way and one running that way, so too in our own conscience. We have two different things. One wanting to run for holiness, one wanting to go for unholiness. One wants baseball. One wants to study Talmud, Mishnah, Halacha, pray, say Tehillim. One wants to eat kosher, but just wants to eat because I'm hungry. I just got to eat more food. I got to eat. And another one is saying like this, eating is not, just come back and let's use your energy to serve God. Constant struggle, like the two babies inside our mother Rivka's pregnancy. By the way, on page 67, there's a beautiful thing up on top, but I'm going to talk it out. It says in the Shema, Hear, O Israel, listen up, Jewish people, the Lord, our God is higher than nature, and this God that is higher than nature is one. What does it mean, one? That God is everywhere at the same time. Nothing could be everywhere at the same time. And then it says, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. What do you mean, all your heart? So it says in the Torah, b'chol levavecha. For those that know Hebrew, the word your heart should be libcha, or libecha, your heart. But when God told Moses to write the Torah, he said, do me a favor. Write two-letter V's. Li-va-vecha. So there's an extra V's, an extra V sound in there. So immediately got Moshe asked God, why do you want two? He says, because in the heart there's always going to be the battle what to do. There's always going to be two voices. Comes God and says, you shall love God with your whole heart. Not just with the voice of the godly soul, because that's a given. But your job will be, how are you going to transform your animal desires to serve me too? Whoa. What did you just say, Rabbi? The animal soul, I have to train to make it to serve God. Yeah. Well, what do you think you're in this world for? This whole world is about transformation. This whole world is about uplifting, transcending. In other words, God gave you the struggles. But also God gave you that lust, jealousy can be a good thing too. Really, a good thing? Yeah. We'll get to that later. But I'm just wetting your tongue on the inner battle. And we're going to have to learn the tools and how to go and say, I love God with all your heart, with the two consciousnesses that are inside us. So basically, where does the godly soul live? If there's a soul, where is it? Is it throughout my entire body? Where is the core sitting of the godly soul? And that, my dear friends, is up here in the mind. It's where it is. In your mind, that's where you can perceive and think what is right. By contrast, the animal soul lives in the blood, meaning in the heart. Because the heart is the place of all desires. All desires usually is, I want this, I want that. The I want this and I want that routine is usually, I want this. You ever see, if you have a daughter, 12 years old, 15 years old, trust me, it could be us at our age. But mommy, I need this. I must have this. If I don't have this, I can't live. I need this dress. Oh my gosh. If I don't have this phone, oh my gosh. So the heart is filled with desires. Now you go out and you do a favor. You buy this for your child. She wears the dress. Or you buy this game for your son, whatever it is. And then you notice a day or two later, where's that special dress? It's on the floor, under the bed. Who cares? Same thing with the game. It broke. Who cares? And we move on. Why? Because the heart just wants things. There's no purpose in its want. Just wants things. So therefore, the animal soul lives in the heart. And by the way, technically, in the heart, how many brain cells are there? And the answer is 0. That's why many times when people get into a relationship, I love this, I love this person. And parents looking and say, what's wrong with you? Can't you see who you're with? You don't get it. I'm with this person, I'm in such love. And then a few weeks later, the person starts thinking, what was I thinking when I fell in love with this person? And that's the point. The heart is not asking any requests from the intellectual part, from the godly soul. So when it comes to all aspects of life, that is the battlefield. The brain versus the heart. The brain versus the heart. So, where is the biggest problem that people have in life? When we struggle, we're always asking, where's my inner peace? Why can't I just have inner peace? And the reason is because the animal soul constantly wants and wants and wants. And sometimes it does things out of anger, and some things it does things out of jealousy, and then all of a sudden we get into trouble. And then there's a voice in us, why don't you do better? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? So there's like this inner struggle. Could you imagine if we both are able to work together? Well, we just learned a moment ago that the two kings don't want to work together. So there's constantly a fight, there's constantly turmoil. And that's why many people have sleepless nights. It's because they have two different souls competing, consciousness competing, the mind and the heart for different things. Now you've done actions and now you're all messed up, and how do I get out of it? It's exhausting. But there is a path. And the path is to get the heart to do what the godly soul wants. Because now you have the heart and the mind aligned. That means this king will surrender to the other king. The godly soul will never surrender because it's a piece of God. It knows what it wants. It knows that you're a Jew and you got to do mitzvah. It may feel dormant, but every single Jew goes through moments in life. You know, there's got to be more to my Judaism. It's not just bagels and lox. It's just not having funny comedians. There's got to be something more to Judaism. Immediately the animal will go and say, there's nothing more in Judaism. What, do you want to go Orthodox? Oh, yeah, you're right. And all of a sudden the animal just crushes the light of the godly soul. It's almost like trying to pin it down. But don't worry. That godly energy is going to go and send out another signal. And after a while, if you choose, okay, let me walk into Chabad house. Let me just walk in. Let me just find out what it's all about. Then all of a sudden you start recognizing what's changing in me. I used to go and think Saturdays was the most boring thing in the world to go to a synagogue. To me, it's all about going on a boat and having pictures, and I can put it up onto Instagram, and I get a beautiful suntan, and I have a massage, and I go running, and I go eating, I go out with my friends. Synagogue, godly? No. But now you're starting to think something else. So there is a path to be able to overcome all the desires of the animal. I'm just laying out the playing field. That is what chapter 9 starts to show you. There is a playing field. And once you enter into the playing field and you allow, with an open mind, because you always say you're an open mind, a little bit, let me hear what the godly has to say. And I know the animal soul is going to push back. Don't listen. But if you go through that struggle and you come out of one little struggle to the other side, and you actually heard some Torah, and you actually heard something Jewish outside, I want to be this, I want to be that. All of a sudden you go, I may come back next Saturday and come to services. Eventually you're telling your friends, I'm enjoying my Shabbos. Whoa. Your Saturday turned into a Shabbos? How? Well, there's a playing field, and I'm on that playing field. And I now understand the city. Each one is fighting for control. What we now need to do is learn how to play on the playing field, how to go about doing on the playing field. That, my dear friends, is next week. Thank you all for joining us on chapter 9 in the book of Living Lessons of Tanya.